Hello, retro fans. I'm working on kind of project which I have, well, neglected for quite a long time, and somebody in Italy is waiting for this quite desperately. And finally, I got a chance to work on this, and I found a solution already, and it is working pretty good so far. And today I want to introduce you to what I'm talking about, and therefore let's jump into this topic right now. And as you can see, as usual, it's a very experimental setup. There's a main board, a C64 board on my desk, and a couple of things. And let's go through this step by step, and then you'll probably go and understand what this whole thing is all about. So basically the main part is the SID-FX. That's a twin SID adapter for standard boards like the 469 or all the other older boards as well. And the purpose of this adapter is to run, well, obviously two SIDs on a single SID board, single socket SID board. And you have the chance to use either two SIDs of the very same type, so two 8580s or two 6581s, or you can mix them as well. And the nice thing is that the SID-FX is able to provide all the voltages required as well. So regardless whether you put this on a new board or on an old board, you do not have to care about additional voltage supply or something like this. So that's pretty handy. And it's a very nice and well, technical looking adapter. It's a bit expensive, so basically it's really something to consider, especially if you do not have an additional SID just on hand. Then you may have to get another one, and then you easily exceed the costs for an FPGA SID, for example. But well, if you are looking for the real deal, if you want to listen to real SIDs and SID sounds, then that's probably an option. Although I personally prefer the Keyman 64, which is an adapter that looks basically like this. Here I have added two SwinSID Nanos to it, but basically it's able to run all the other SIDs as well. And it has a couple of benefits compared to the SID-FX, which we are going to address in a couple of minutes. And basically the board is kind of my standard setup, so I have already replaced the modulator with the modulator replacement revision 3 from the Forum 64, from Auspuff Square, Auspuff Hoch 2, whatever we want to call him. And I really love the modulator replacement because it offers S-video output as well as 3.5 millimeter stereo stack jack connector, and therefore it is the optimal solution for running twin SID setups on standard boards. And this leads kind of to the wiring that has been done on this board as well. So the SID-FX requires a couple of additional wires, well, so to say. This is the audio out, and this is routed through those three wires to my modulator replacement here. And for this purpose I had to build a new cable, because the SID-FX comes with an own 3.5 millimeter stereo audio jack, which well, needs to be somewhere attached to your C64 case, and that's basically a little bit uncomfortable because it requires drilling holes, and as you may know, I really don't like drilling holes in precious cases, and therefore the modulator replacement is the way to go for me. And as a next thing, the SID-FX requires additional address lines to run in stereo mode, and since I was running out of connectors, I had to attach this wire kind of in a wild fashion to the fourth connector here on the ZFX, and I just went for A5, and this is coming from the CPU from pin 12 and provides the additional address D420, and basically the ZFX comes with a ready-to-use cable with 3 grabbers, and you have A5, A8 and IO1, for example, and this can be easily attached to the ZFX out of the box. And the next thing, and that's basically the important thing about this whole video and this whole project, is the Keyman64, which is basically this device, and this is attached as a kind of in the middle device between the keyboard and the C64, and here I have used my 3D printed keyboard cable, as you can see, and this makes it very easy to work with a device like this. And the Keyman is able to kind of interpret key presses on your keyboard and creates some kind of signals, and those signals are available here. And we got 2 times 8-bit, and we can use them for whatever purpose we want to use them. And I have connected 4 outputs, 4 bits from basically here through those wires here all the way along to those 2 sockets. And originally on the ZFX you got 2 cables with 2 switches, kind of 3-state switches, and basically for this you need holes in your case as well. And this is something I have really disliked about the ZFX at all. So the switches are perhaps, well, not a bad idea at all, but I mean, just consider that you really have to drill 3 holes in your C64 case, and then you have some kind of, well, let's say ugly looking switches somewhere on the back or on the top or something like this. And you even have to remember what kind of mode you set your ZFX into when you switch which switch to which position. And for me it was always a little bit confusing and complicated. And most of the time I was running the ZFX just in the so-called middle position, and I was using the config tool to set the mode I was looking for, and I haven't used the switcher at all. But now we got the Keyman64, and as I said, we can use the Keyman64 and use some key shortcuts, so to say, on our keyboard to control the ZFX. And I'm going to demonstrate this just in a second. And here we have already one demo running in stereo mode. And as a very first presentation, perhaps we go and switch between the 2 audio channels. So as you can hear the stereo, I can crank up the volume a little bit as well. And by pressing hotkey 1, we now listen to one SID. I think it's the left one. So it's basically one voice missing. And if we press hotkey 3, then we listen to the other SID and the other 3 voices. So that's basically the right SID, and we listen to the 3 voices coming from this SID. And pressing hotkey 1, we are listening to this SID and the 3 voices. And with hotkey 2, we are back in stereo mode. So, and the next thing I'm going to demonstrate is the switch or the change of the mode of the ZFX. But for this we need to go into the ZFX config tool, and this has some kind of not so perfect aspect, because we can switch the modes on the fly, but as you may recognize, nothing is changing because the SidFX requires a reset to jump or to switch to the other profile. And in order to do so, and since I'm a little bit lazy basically, don't want to attach so much stuff to my C64 all the time while in test mode, I have added the reset line to the keyman as well. And this is basically attached to pin 5 on our keyman, which is somewhere here. And the reset line is just going all the way up to our user port on pin 3 from the right side. And here we got reset. And when I press hotkey R, our C64 is performing a reset, which we can't see right now because the C64 is blocked by something else. But now we are out of the demo, and I'm going to demonstrate this again. Hotkey R, so we have reset. And we can use the keyman for a lot of other things as well. So what I've done, basically, I have programmed some of the function keys so that we get, for example, a directory listing with hotkey F1, and got a list on it as well. It has to wait a couple of seconds because we don't know how long the directory is. The keyman has no feedback from the C64, and therefore we have to kind of take a guess. And now we're going to jump into my disk image, which contains all the configuration tools. That's basically this one. And we can use hotkey F1 as well to load our directory. Just have to wait. And here we go. And now we're going to need SidFX config 101. And I got another hotkey that loads automatically the program I have selected. So I do not have to type that much. Very comfortable. And hopefully we are in our configuration program in a second. And here we can see that we are set to the left mode. So the switch SW2 has basically 3 positions, as I said at the beginning. It's left, center, and right. And the keys 4, 5, and 6 are emulating those switch positions. So with hotkey 5 we are in the middle, hotkey 6 is on the right position, and hotkey 4 is on the left position. And here we can configure our SidFX to the modes we want to use. So I've set this in the left position to D400 and D420 in stereo mode. Center position is basically mono mode. Both SIDs are playing the very same signal, and the right position is the stereo mode, and with D400 and DE00. But for this I have to connect another address line, which I haven't done so far yet, and therefore this mode is basically not very interesting. So as I said, if we're going to change the mode, we have to perform a reset. And we do not have to go back to the config tool. We can do this on the fly. So by simply pressing hotkey R, we have a reset. And if we're going to change the mode right now with hotkey 4, for example, we have to perform another reset. And then the SidFX is into the so-called left configuration. And well, that's basically how it works. I mean, it's not very complicated. The only thing I had some headaches about is how the SidFX is controlled by the switches. So whether it uses a high or low signal. Therefore I had to do some measurements, and then I had to create a configuration for the keyman. And I'm going to show you this right now as well. And I'm back. And what we can see here right now is basically kind of a text file, a configuration file that is transferred by the USB connection for the SID for the Keyman 64. That's the reason for this massive USB cable here on my desk. And we were talking about the configuration, and as we can see here right now, we have some kind of a start section, and the very first line is restoring the last saved configuration. There's a nice typo in it, okay. And it sets the A7 control line to tree state, and tree state is something between high and low. It is neither nor. It is basically not connected, and that's basically the very interesting or very useful thing for the Keyman 64 in conjunction with the SIDFX, because if we set the switches for the SIDFX in the middle mode, then there's no contact made between the lines or the wires, and it is basically open, like non-existing, so to say. And this was really important for this configuration, because the SIDFX is requiring that we set the input line to ground, so to 0. But if we switch to another position, then this line is not set to high or something like this. It is tree state is just open. And basically the Keyman configuration wasn't working when I was just switching between 0 and 1. So I really had to set this to tree state. And therefore we have a couple of additional lines within our text editor here. And that's basically, as I said, these are our hotkeys, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And they represent left, center, right. Left, center, right from the second switch. And if we're going to switch to the left position, then we have to set the right position to tree state mode, so that the SIDFX is not getting confused with a mix of signals that makes no sense compared to a physical switch, so to say. And we got a center position that sets basically all 2 lines to tree state mode. And then we got the same for the second switch here as well. And then we have a couple of additional things like the directory loading with the list command and additional list command and the load asterisk 1, and then we got some load. This is the command which I have used to load a certain program out of the directory listing. And then we have additional things like the reset I have mentioned. That's working the very same. So we set A7 to 0, or we just cleared. Then we wait for 100 milliseconds, and then we set this A7 back to tree state. Save is just to save the current configuration, and test is what I'm using to see whether the Keyman is working at all. That's some kind of a live signal, and it just writes alive. So that's basically the main configuration for the SIDFX in combination with the Keyman 64. And basically this is all going to be in one case. Basically it's not staying like this. And therefore we really have the chance to control a lot of functions of a C64 without additional switches or something like this. And if this is perhaps a bit confusing, there's even a chance to add the so-called overlay 64 to this, and then we have a representation of what we have done so far with the Keyman on our screen. I will link to a video where I demonstrate this already. And the overlay 64 can be attached to the modulator replacement that is coming with an connector just for the purpose of connecting the overlay to it. So you can see this is a whole combo of components, and this works really, really well. So basically that's all for this video. It's a bit shorter than the other ones, and I think that's quite okay. And one thing perhaps, I was running out of connectors, as I said, because I have to kind of donor one cable to another friend who is waiting for this, exactly for the connection of ZFX to a modulator replacement. And I'm having a hard time to find the right type of connectors. So if you have an idea how this connector is called, it's a 4-pin connector. I really need to get at least 2 or 3 of them so that I can rebuild some cables, because those cables are going to be shipped to Italy, and then I have no cables left for my ZFX, but basically perhaps I'm going to need them, I don't know. But it would be cool to know what type of connector this is, and basically then I can get some spare parts for this. So, as usual, thank you very much for watching. If you have any questions, something like this, feel free to use the comment section. As usual, I will add a couple of links to the description section. This time I got it right. And I will add the mentioned video to the top of my video as well, so that you have a look at you can have a look at the overlay functionality as well. And well, that's basically all for this topic. Then thanks for watching. As usual, feel free to support me on Patreon or Ko-Fi. You can follow me on Twitter as well, and I'm occasionally on Instagram now as well. So I'm trying to broaden my media presence, but I'm actually not sure whether I can well, stand this for a very long time, because it is indeed very time consuming to be on several social media platforms, and I probably go and stick to Twitter for the future. And but anyway, that's a whole different story. So see you for the next episode. Bye bye.